What's up?
Oh, I'm just compiling all the top sports scores, news, and odds so I can make the very best bets.
Me too. BetOnline.ag.
Join today and receive your 50% welcome bonus at betonline.ag.
All right, Evan, you're back from vacation.
Back, baby.
I'm going to really put you back in it. We have to talk Patriots receivers.
Let's do it.
The thing I know you cannot stand talking about.
I love talking Patriots receivers. What are you talking about?
This is the FOXBORO Report, powered by betonline.ag. Visit clnsmedia.com/win today. Use the promo code CLNS50 for 50% cash back. Evan, they're going to be okay at the wide receiver position, despite what some people think. But
I agree.
They added some good help this week, the Patriots did, in signing Dontrelle Inman to a one-year contract. The former Colt, former Charger, was a member of the Toronto Argonauts team that won the 100th Grey Cup, undrafted out of Virginia.
Had to get that in there.
My point is he's had a path. It took him some time to get to the NFL. He broke out with the Chargers in 2015, but then a year later he had what was described as core surgery. So I'm guessing that's like the ab muscles somewhere in there, core muscle surgery. He's never totally bounced back. He had a good year last year with the Colts. It was the first time he's put up numbers as big since his surgery, but he's struggled to play more than half a season. Again, the numbers haven't been the same since that surgery. On a scale of, we'll go Josh Gordon to Eric Decker, where is this signing for the Patriots?
Right in the middle, honestly.
Okay.
Of those two guys. I kind of look at this as like a Kenny Britt, Jordan Matthews type situation. This guy can get on the field and stay on the field in August and in training camp and in the preseason and perform. I think he's got a pretty good chance to make the team just based off of the tape alone. Last year, really what put him on my radar, and I actually wrote about him as a potential Patriots target back in March, was that playoff performance, 2 games, 8 for 8, 108 yards and a touchdown in 2 games. And he really put some corners in the blender against both Kansas City and against Houston. The Houston corners had a lot of trouble covering him in that playoff game in the wild card round. Really what I think you notice about him is, first and foremost, he's 6'3", 205 pounds, and he's a bigger guy. He's another bigger receiver that they're bringing in.
Well, it's kind of similar to what they did last season. All the guys they brought in, Decker, Britt, Matthews, they're all big guys. And none of them ended up working out, but
they're
it's
trying
kind of
to
similar
hit
to what
on
they
one
did
of
last
these big
year.
guys.
Right.
Obviously, they hope that N'Keal Harry is the ultimate hit as the big guy, but I think that Inman's another big guy, knows how to use his length to have a nice catch radius, making catches all over the place, but it's really his route running that stands out. This is a guy that really understands the little nuances and the little details of route running. He's not going to create huge separation on some of the simpler routes, the digs, the comebacks, that type of stuff. He starts running double moves, though. There's a lot of double moves on his tape last year with Indianapolis, where he's creating loads of separation and really, beating corners badly in some of those. Adoree Jackson, Kevin Johnson with the Houston Texans, a couple of the Chiefs corners he got in that divisional round game as well. So that's some good news for the Patriots. Another bigger receiver that has some route running nuance. There's little things about route running, like leverages and angles. Football's a big sport about angles. Like, you don't think of it that way, but it really is like how guys are lining up. Are they giving you inside shade? Are they giving you outside shade? What are you looking at? What kind of coverage are you looking at? And how can you exploit that? He's very good at that. He's got some IQ, good football IQ. Everybody I've spoken to about him, that, Indy beat writers, LA beat writers, those types of guys, saying that he has a pretty good football IQ and that background of having a good football intelligence.
All right, so that all sounds well and good.
Yeah.
But why was he out there to this point? Why is he still sitting there at the compensation pick deadline?
Right. Well, I think that there's two things. One, I think that he is not the type of receiver. If you're thinking of drafting a receiver, you're probably going to see what you can get in the draft first before you're going to sign a guy like this, right? This is a total classic example of like a post-comp pick signing, because if you're a team like, let's say, the Colts, who just drafted Paris Campbell out of Ohio State, you're probably going to roll with Paris Campbell over Dontrelle Inman. Right. That's just kind of a natural thing. So I think that was, part of it. The other part of it, I think, is that really since 2016, where he had his best year production-wise, he had over 800 yards as a member of the Chargers, he hasn't really been able to replicate that. He had about 300 yards last year. Even the 2 good games I just talked about in the playoffs, he only had 108 yards combined in 2 games. It wasn't like he, went completely off. So the production really hasn't been there. His ability to stay on the field, we talked about the injuries already. That's been a concern too. Listen, this guy belongs on an NFL roster, belongs on an NFL team, but this is not Randy Moss, right?
Certainly.
So we're getting him at a time later during the
But do you
process.
think maybe, and a lot of people were upset the Patriots didn't take a second wide receiver in the draft, specifically in the 5th round where they go out, they take Jake Bailey, the punter. Do you think knowing he was available is why they didn't pull the trigger on a receiver there? And is he a better option than a guy like a David Sills or a Stanley Morgan who was on the board at the end of day 3?
Yeah, I think that that's a good point. I think that, Bill Belichick talked about this before the draft of it's very difficult to project receivers in the college game to the NFL game.
Right.
Inman's certainly a guy that they're going to be able to project a little bit easier into the Patriots offense. The Chargers offense has some similar roots. The Colts is certainly different. It's more of a West Coast based scheme, but there are some things that you can see in that scheme of him running routes that he's going to run here in New England and how he's successful doing so. So that helps. And I certainly think that he's a better receiver than some of the guys that they might have gotten later on in the draft in those spots. And I think that a lot of the guys that were available later on in the draft, quite frankly, were just off their boards altogether for various reasons that we know nothing about. So I think that that was a big part of it. I think that this is a nice signing for this time of year. Him and Ben Watson to get players of that caliber in May is pretty rare.
All right, let us know what you think of Dontrelle Inman. Will he make the team? How much of a factor will he be come September? You can throw that in the comments down below or on Twitter at Patriots CLNS.
We could see this video like 2 months from now, and he could not make the team out of camp, and I don't think anybody would be surprised.
No,
this is a 50-50 proposition.
Again, there's a reason I
dart,
compared him to Eric Decker, Jordan Matthews, Kenny Brain.
Yeah, it's a
because
dart at the
it's
board.
another big receiver they're trying to get. But as far as darts go, not a bad one to throw.
No.
And that's kind of the point. This edition of the FOXBORO Report has been powered by betonline.ag. Visit clnsmedia.com/win today. Use the promo code CLNS50 for 50% cash back. With the FOXBORO Report from Gillette Stadium, I'm Alex Barth. He's Evan Lazar. Thanks for watching.